It punches you in the stomach. A youth culture movement birthed from the street, giving voice to a disenfranchised generation. But it's not the 70s, and I'm not talking about punk. For today and the past decade, the sound is grime. In its rawest form, it's having a resurgence. The grime scene, I'm the champion. With a sound steeped in its own history. And in 2015, it's threatening to go global.
Went to the show sitting in the front row in a black tracksuit and it's shut down.
It's fast, it's energy,
I know when it's shut down.
got a passion for it. If you see a kid wearing Nike, that's grime to me. Like all that, everything that you see from our generation is grime.
And if Selassie I saw you, he would say, blood, take off the...
Sky's the limit for grime right now.
Start moving correctly. Boy, better know when it's shut down. Yeah.
This is Roman Road in East London, the epicentre for the genesis of the movement, the culture and the genre known as grime. In New York in the early 70s, the South Bronx was to hip-hop what this place right here, Bow E3, is to grime.
Bill, when I spit to kill. Spit like I said, alarm.
Taking cues from Jamaican sound system culture, grime sound was crafted through clashes and MC battles in inner city London and on pirate radio. One such clash was Lord of the Mics, which started in the basement of grime artist Jammer's family home.
We was just a voice. We was those kids that come up, that had been in London, that had experienced some things that weren't too nice or weren't too pretty, and wanted to make a way out and wanted to get out. So through the frustration, rather than going out there and damaging things and robbing people and doing all these things, we'd go and release it on record and let the anger go on the music.
Break everybody down, take everybody down. Any crew, any sound, any MC who's in my way, I break down. I can show you now, it's all changed round.
However, this raw, energetic sound increasingly led to fears from venues and licensing police that the music was inciting violence and events were shut down. Coupled with a lack of infrastructure and wider music industry support, the original grime sound was locked out of the mainstream.
This is Road Deep Empire. If you work hard, then you can be a buyer like me.
When you look at it superficially, you are seeing, working class kids in tracksuits on stage. It's 140 BPM, so it's going to come across more aggressively anyway, sonically and visually. It's the same with the music back then. Ska and punk were about a message. A lot of that message was about frustration,
It just felt like everyone was against us. All the clubs and the police were shutting us down for whatever reason. We're just guys from the street trying to just get out and do things positive.
Some people think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm...
Released at the turn of the decade, Dizzy Rascal tracks like Bonkers reflected many grime artists' shift to a more commercially acceptable sound after being shut out by the labels and tastemakers. Not inspired by the commercial pop sound adopted by some of the early grime artists, a new generation have truly taken the bull by the horns and created the sound right back to where it started, the streets, leading to the titans of hip-hop truly paying attention and perhaps most importantly, success, but without compromise. In 2015, grime reached millions of new ears when Kanye West invited artists such as Stormzy, Jammer and Skepta onto the stage with him at the Brit Awards. Whilst before it played in basement sessions to a dozen people in Bow, grime is now headlining huge venues across the country, like in Leeds for One Extra Live, where over 10,000 people came to see a grime-dominated lineup.
Back then, I could never imagine where we are now. It was more just like a hobby, something to do. Like I was still in college, charting, going top of the pops, going to school the next day. Little did I know, 11 years on, I'm at flipping Leeds Arena about to perform in front of 12,000 people, untold shows. My gigs now is music lovers, they're grime fans, but they might like a bit of punk, they might like a bit of Oasis.
Couple man call me a backup dancer on stage at the Brits, I'm a backup dancer.
We're definitely in a much better place commercially. What Stormzy's achieved is incredible, getting a top 5 on iTunes. Even Lord of the Mics, the weekend it came out, was sat above One Direction in the album charts, and I think it's reflective of the audience and the power of social media.
Hey mate, you're a better mix.
Groups like The Square are bringing the notion of the traditional grime crew back. YouTube, WhatsApp and Snapchat have replaced pirate radio, youth clubs and basements.
We didn't come up in youth clubs, we were spitting on road and going studio. And outside McDonald's, spitting outside there. We've made grime fun again, like Revolution McDee's, even with a video.
Trust.
Trust.
To an audience whose parents had rebel sounds, including rock, punk, indie, reggae, new wave and acid house,
Big man like me with a beard, look how am I scared?
UK grime is on the cusp of being as internationally influential as those previous generations' music.